Okay, so this is a bit of a kind of different video. I guess I'm talking about Mori Calliope today, and obviously, she's a member of Hololive EN, and has been a member for quite a while now. And due to all of the stuff that's been going on around Hololive at the moment, obviously, it's understandable that a lot of people are kind of struggling with this, kind of stuff. We saw, for example, like Saba going ahead and debuting, obviously after being Gawr Gura and graduating from Hololive, which obviously probably does have quite a big effect on a lot of these streamers who have been kind of working with her all of this time and are now unable to kind of talk about it. And we saw it, for example, with Kiara, Takanashi Kiara, who actually went live and was being like kind of raided by a lot of Saba fans, and then was a little bit awkward because obviously she couldn't really talk about Saba or anything like that due to the fact of her still being in Hololive. And yeah, it seems like this has been, something that has been quite stressful on a lot of people. But also, there's been other stresses that, many of these VTubers face, especially whenever you're part of Hololive, for example. You got to make music, you got to make content, you got to do all of this stuff, and then also live your own personal life as well. And it seems like Mori Calliope recently has opened up about some kind of burnout things that have been going on over, on her end, which I think, obviously is pretty sad to see. But it's quite nice because she actually opened up about it over on a clip and also talked about it. And essentially, many people were confused at what she was kind of meaning by this post. She said, "Sorry if I worried you guys today. I love my job, but I do this to myself. I put far too much pressure on myself to live up to my own expectations. And even when I'm doing well, it never feels like enough. I make the effort to be nicer to myself this summer." Now, I don't know exactly what they're referring to in terms of what exactly went wrong, or sorry if I worried you guys today. I think it might be due to do with this clip. So again, I want to show you guys this stuff. People saying like, "We love you." They're saying, "You're an artist. It makes sense that you would feel like it's never enough. Don't think I know a single creative person who's ever satisfied with their work," which yeah, definitely is true. Lots of people just want to keep going. And it just seems like there's been a lot of support for Mori in a lot of these comments, which is really nice to see. And here is the actual clip of her talking about burnout and, mental health and everything like that, which is going on, which is actually pretty rare, I would say, in terms of agency stuff. I feel like in terms of like agency type in VTubers, a lot of them tend to stick to a character, tend to stick to this kind of false version of themselves where they don't talk about this kind of stuff. But I'm glad to see that Mori has actually kind of opened up and had a little bit of a chat. But let's just play.
And Deadbeats, I have not been feeling good recently. I'll be honest with you. I prefer to keep the vibe pretty positive here, but I will say it's been pretty rough. It's been pretty much a hard time for me. So I've been finding joy in the little things as much as possible. How recently is recently, like the past month, it's been pretty bad. I never really go into detail. You deadbeats know Mori Calliope here, strong, silent type who just, puts up with everything, doesn't talk too much about it. But
which yeah, obviously is a massive contrast to her character, by the way. I mean, you guys know who Mori Calliope is, what her kind of personality is like. So it's a little bit, strange to see her in this kind of way, but obviously it's great to see that she is kind of opening up about it.
What I will say is that I'm really lucky to have good friends.
Later, the quality, there we go.
Yeah, so I was definitely feeling it the other day too. I was thinking to myself, like, you know what, Mori, maybe you should just take a break until fall, because at a certain point I'm like, even streaming, like, which I love, even streaming, I don't feel the motivation to do it, and that's when you know something's wrong. There are a lot of reasons, and I think, those burdens aren't you guys' burdens, so I'd prefer not to talk too much about that. But you're amazing, dude. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting me and cheering me on. Maybe I don't really seem like somebody that like needs a lot of cheers because I can hold on for myself, right? But you guys cheering does really help a lot. So thank you. I'm really lucky that I have great fans and friends. Like, I was feeling pretty bad this morning, but then I got to hang out with Una and that was fun. And we went and we looked at graffiti. And it was really neat because what I kind of realized while we were looking at it, they were so excited. It was really cute how excited they got when we were looking at stuff. And even I was kind of in awe. I was like, oh, this is really cool. And we were just kind of looking around at it, and it was really neat. And something that I thought was really interesting is that while we were walking around, like, it was definitely kind of in a more, how do I say? It's kind of like there's this really beautiful graffiti in areas that are full of trash. right? Like there's just debris and garbage everywhere around these graffitied up places. And maybe someone's first instinct might be to be like, oh yeah, this really beautiful artwork is here, too bad there's so much trash everywhere, like in the way. But to me, when I was looking at it, I was like, no, this is just their world that they draw in the manga. Like this is their world, and it like made it so much more beautiful, the fact that there was so much trash around. It's like, it's hard to explain, but like I thought that was really cool, because I was looking at the walls and I was like, I've seen this.
But yeah, again, this is you know, what she's talking about. I feel like it's very important that, you know, she's kind of opened up about this stuff, and I think that it's great that she's opened up about this kind of stuff, because again, you can see that obviously there's a lot of burnout, lost motivation, things like that, which have kind of gone on, and you know, that can cause people to kind of, you know, not want to do anything that they're doing currently. And I think that you know, as a part of Hololive, you get that kind of added pressure to keep going and to keep kind of performing, which honestly, yeah, it can kind of suck. But hopefully, you know, she does have that kind of time off. I'm not really sure if she's planning on doing like some kind of hiatus for maybe just like a month or so, or like a couple of weeks or so, just to kind of get that little break in. Honestly, I think that would be the best thing for her, just to kind of, you know, get that little bit of a break and then come back to streaming and things like that. And even like sometimes for like, you know, burnout's quite a common thing, especially whenever it comes to content creation, because again, it's like kind of hard to find out, you know, your next topic or whatever like that. And it's like, okay, sometimes you just need that little bit of a break. Like for me, sometimes it does get like pretty bad, but like usually just like one day, or not even one day, like a couple of hours of just doing something other than content creation is just like, okay, now I'm completely reset and I could go ahead and just do whatever I want, which honestly I think is actually really, really good. And I think that's why breaks really help. I think people don't really appreciate how much breaks help whenever it comes to it. Obviously, yeah, it's quite worrying because you're not, you know, pumping out content constantly or whatever. But even, as I said, even if it's for like a day or two, sometimes it does help. And I think that, you know, Mori Calliope has been opening up about a lot of this burnout stuff, which I think, yeah, it's just one of those things that happens in the sphere, and it even happens to your favorite VTuber. But as I said, it's kind of nice to see her kind of drop the act, I guess, because obviously, yeah, we know Mori Calliope as this kind of very confident, like kind of character that we always see. But it's nice that obviously for this one clip, or for this one little moment, she was just like, okay, like I'm not doing good, by the way, like I'm burnt out, things like that, which I think obviously, yeah, kind of humanizes her a lot more, especially, you know, in the world of VTubing. VTubers can be very dehumanized by a lot of people due to the fact of them being behind a screen. And we've seen that a lot with, you know, the cases of Iron Mouse, as I talked about. I do have a whole video. I've got a whole 2 videos on TikTok kind of harassing Iron Mouse and Saba over online, because, you know, they feel like they can. They feel like, you know, oh, they're not real. They've just got a kind of like 2D model. When in actual fact, there is someone behind that 2D model who's a real person, who gets real burnout, who obviously deals with real kind of, I guess, harassment like this. And it gets pretty bad. And I think that, you know, some people do forget that. So I think, you know, kind of adding those little human elements in there every now and again, and not just kind of sticking to the Hololive kind of code, it's actually quite nice. And obviously it will definitely it informs her fans and stuff of what's going on as well whenever it comes to content, if there is less content, and hopefully they can work on some kind of plan just to kind of beat this burnout, because it does go away eventually. It's just how you deal with it during, you know, the time that you've got it, whether that is going on a break, whether that is finding something else to do to kind of avert your attention to a different thing so you don't feel so burnt out about other things. But yeah, this is just a very interesting post I wanted to share with you guys, because yeah, you don't really see it often, especially from a lot of agency VTubers. And you know, you guys probably might have seen this tweet come out yesterday and have been a little bit confused at what actually went on. And I'm pretty sure it is referring to that one clip that we looked at, and the fact that, you know, she was saying that she wasn't okay and that she was getting, you know, she wasn't in the best of places. But obviously, yeah, it seems like things will work out soon, and hopefully she can get back on track very, very soon. And yeah, just try to, you know, do whatever, take a break, whatever it works best for her. But yeah, let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this, because again, I'm very interested in what you guys have to say. You know, do you have any tips on burnouts or on burnout or whatever that you would probably give to her or whatever? Because again, I'm very interested. Might even use some of it myself, to be honest. Not that I'm burnt out at the moment though. For a time whenever I do get burnt out. But you know, yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like, sorry. Go to GameSubs, use my code Kaza, get 10% off again. There are a ton of really cool stuff over there. I definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. So